now been 3 weeks since the January 6th attack on the Capitol, a day that will live on in American history. People will study that day for decades and probably centuries to come. And the majority of Republican members of Congress, who, again, voted on the side of that mob, voted to overturn a free and fair democratic election, to install the loser over the winner against the will of the people, the majority of Republicans, the ones who have done that, they have done nothing to get back on the right side of the boundary they all crossed that day. On January 6th, with their votes, those members moved from what might be called the politics of a loyal opposition into something altogether different and far more dangerous. Today, Speaker Nancy Pelosi described the terrifying situation members of Congress now find themselves in.
I do believe, and I have said this all along, that we will probably need a supplemental for more security for members when the enemy is within the House of Representatives. It shouldn't be that not only is the President of the United States inciting an insurrection, but keeps fanning the flame, endangering the security of members of Congress to the point that they're even concerned about members in the House of Representatives being a danger to them.
What exactly did you mean when you said that the enemy is within? What exactly did
it
you
means
mean by
that we have members of Congress who want to bring guns on the floor and have threatened violence on other members of Congress.
Keep in mind, the speaker is talking about people like freshman Republican Lauren Boebert of Colorado, who tweeted about carrying her Glock to Congress and called the day of the attack, before it actually happened, right? When she knew it was planned, she said, today is 1776. 1776, of course, a year of violent revolution, somewhat famously so. They didn't go and, petition their government, right? They fought them with guns. And Paul Gosar of Arizona, who also tweeted on January 6th, quote, Biden should concede. I want his concession on my desk tomorrow, and then with an image of the crowd. Don't make me come over there. These people have shown no compunction, no regret in the aftermath, no shame. And then there is their colleague, Marjorie Taylor Greene, a freshman lawmaker from Georgia, who's been the focus of much more sustained attention. Now, Greene is on the record endorsing violence against Speaker Nancy Pelosi. This is a Facebook comment Greene liked from a January 2019 suggesting, quote, a bullet to the head would be quicker to remove Pelosi. Thumbs up. But that's just one of a long list of violent, racist, and crazy things Marjorie Taylor Greene has said, including suggesting Muslims should not be able to serve in public office, itself a direct contradiction of the plain text of the Constitution she so claims to love, and that black people are, quote, held slaves to the Democratic Party. She's on video harassing David Hogue, a survivor of the Parkland school shooting, claiming, this is key, that the tragedy was a false flag. It didn't really happen. It was a fake or planted. This was a big conspiracy theory on the right for a while. She's also trafficked in several other insane far-right conspiracy theories, like this one, which I had to study about. I hadn't really encountered it. But it's the one about how Hillary Clinton satanically murders babies. And then there's another about a California wildfire being started by a laser beam, and then Governor Jerry Brown and the Rothschilds were involved. Yes, Jewish space laser beams starting the forest fire. And the best response the leader of the House Republican caucus, Kevin McCarthy, can come up with to all of that is that he'll have a talk with her. Like, oh, tell me more about the laser beam. Where was that? How did that work? Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has been the subject of death threats. There's a man arrested who posted assassinate AOC, who had stormed the Capitol. Since the attack on the Capitol, touring to Leader McCarthy on this show last night, saying he's basically afraid of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
It increasingly seems, unfortunately, that in the House Republican caucus, Kevin McCarthy answers to these QAnon members of Congress, not the other way around. And that is something that, frankly, needs to be said. You know, he said he was going to pull Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene aside. And so when I hear that Representative McCarthy is going to pull a member aside who has made white supremacist sympathizing comments, the thing that I think is, what is he going to tell them? Keep it up? Because there are no consequences in the Republican caucus for violence. There's no consequences for racism, no consequences for misogyny, no consequences for insurrection. And no consequences means that they condone it. It means that that silence is acceptance, and they want it because they know that it is a core animating political energy for them.